Hello crafters, how are you today? I am here to show you how to make this very simple but elegant card. I mean, it is a wedding card and I just think it's just gorgeous. I'm using the Season of Chic stamp set and dies. There's some great dies in here. And I'm also using the designer tags dies. This little tag is from the designer tags dies. The paper is also from the Season of Chic, and it is fabulous. It was hard to decide which one to make. Look at all this beautiful color in this designer series paper, and there are these gold accents. That's what makes it a specialty paper. And I chose this one, and then that one. I'm going to coordinate with it. So, nope, actually, this one. See, I couldn't hardly decide. My name is Linda Edwards. I'm with Crafty Here in Designs, and I am here on Facebook. I'm also available on YouTube. If you are here live, thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. And if you are watching on the replay on either YouTube or Facebook, welcome. Glad you could make it. Let's go ahead and get started. Put that aside. So I will start with, these are all of the measurements. If you want to take a quick screenshot of that, I will also have the measurements located in the description down below here, both on Facebook and on YouTube. I will list all of these measurements so that you've got them handy. So I started with a gray granite card base. It is cut 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. So that's your standard card base. And I always like to start by folding and burnishing the card base and then setting it aside so I don't get it all messed up. Next, I've got 2 pieces of basic white, actually 5 1/4 by 4. So one will be for the inside and the other will be for the outside. And then I've got a scrap of about 3 3/4 by 1.5. And then this small little piece, this little piece is the scrap of 3 3/4 by 1.5. And then I have my DSP. You can see, isn't that just gorgeous? And this is cut 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then there's a coordinating piece of DSP, and this one is cut 4 1/4 by 3. And then there's this beautiful distressed gold specialty paper. So I've got 2 pieces. One is just a little scrap. It's about 2 by 1 3/4. And then this one is 2 3/4 square. So 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And that's important, and I'll show you why in a minute. So let's see. So we can go ahead and start with, oops, sorry, get that out of the way, with gluing these 2 pieces together. So this is the basic white, and I like to use liquid glue, but you use whatever your adhesive of choice is. You don't want to use too much if you use the liquid glue, because you don't want it slipping around or oozing out. It's okay it's nice that it's a little slippery because I can make sure that I get it. Got a little bit of wiggle room there, and you can see there's just a little bit of a border, a white border, and I like it because it picks up the white in that designer series paper. But you don't want to attach it to your card base yet, because we are going to wrap some ribbon around there. So I'm going to set that aside, and then let's see, we're going to do some die cutting. So you're going to take your designer series paper and you're going to use 2 dies. So as you can see, I've taped these 2 dies together just so that I know where I want them to be on my paper. So what I'm using is, this is the designer tag die, this outline, and then this rose, these roses and flowers, let's see, that comes from the season of chic. Oh, excuse me, no, that one's from the tag, the designer tag die as well. But I felt like it complemented the flowers that were in the card. And I'm going to bring my mini boss over here just because it's just easier. You can see it easier on the camera because it's smaller, and since my paper fits, it works beautifully. Now, when you're doing, one little tip I have for you with the mini boss is to go ahead and kind of stagger the plates when you put them together. So you don't want it too close. I'm going to stagger them a little bit so that it goes through cleanly. And because this does have a little bit of a direction to it, I'm going to try and line it up. But when I put it through, it's going to be a little bit on an angle so that it goes through a little smoothly. You don't want a solid line to be cutting through. So there we go. Just because it's got some detail in it, I'm going to go forward and backward. Let's make see if it came out intact. Yes, those little bits look like they came out. So I'm going to set that aside. And I actually do have, go ahead and get those little bits out. Didn't bring over my little die cutting brush, but they come out very easily. So there we go. Okay, set those aside. And I am actually going to do one more die, a little more die cutting. And there's this little piece from the season of chic, and I'm taking the smaller piece of the gold distressed paper, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. I have to get all those bits off of the plate. And this one's a little easier because I don't really have to line it up. Don't have to worry about where it lines up. And run that through real quickly. I like the small embossing buddy. When I'm doing, lots of small pieces, it's kind of nice to just have it right there on my desk. It fits right there, doesn't take up a lot of room. But if you're just getting started, I think you want to go with the big one to get started because it's less limiting because you can only use those smaller pieces. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, this is actually going to go this way. And see, this gold piece is going to fit behind here like that so that you can see the gold in front. So what I am going to do is I'm going to snip the little corners before I attach it. I'm just going to take a little bit of a snip off. Easier said than done when I'm standing here. Let's do it this way. I want to make sure that it fits, that I don't want to see it around the front, but I also, like in this little corner, see it's kind of tight. I want to make sure that there's enough gold there to show behind my piece. If I actually, let's do it this way. It's much easier, right? Because I can see it here and here. So we made this card in class. I do host classes here in my home. If you are in the Georgia area and would like to join me, I'd love to have you. We have a lot of fun, and the class information is on my Facebook page, and it's also on my website, craftyherondesigns.stampinup.net. See, I'm looking at this. It's a little bit too long here, so I am going to just trim that off just a little bit. All right, here we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a couple of glue dots in the corner of this piece. You know what, I should have this on here so you can see it a little bit better. It kind of blends in with that background, doesn't it? I'm trying different backgrounds with my videos to try and see what works best. If you have any suggestions, or thoughts on whether you like this background or not, or whether it works for you. I'd love to hear from you. Let's see here. Okay, and this one's going to be a little bit smaller because that corner is a little tight. Okay, here we go. So now, let's see, did I do that right? Of course, I can always come back and recut if it shows through. Nope, there we go. All right. Okay, so now, because that's going to be for my inside. So now what we're going to do is our sentiment. Set that aside. So I did want to use the gold. I really like the gold accents in this paper. So we are going to heat emboss the sentiment. And my sentiment is from Peaceful Moments. It's Congratulations. And I'm going to bring in my items for my heat embossing. So here it is, it's the Congratulations. So, you know, Stampin' Up! Has a new set of embossing tools, which is really pretty cool. I've had, this was their old embossing buddy. I've had it for years. But they've got a new set in the new catalog, which is wonderful. If you don't have your embossing buddy and some other items, take a look at that. It's in the new July through January or December catalog. So I stamped it with Versamark. If you're new to heat embossing, this is just magical. This heat embossing was one of the first things that really got me excited about Stampin' Up, or excuse me, about card making. So I have, I keep my embossing powder in this little container. Just helps me corral it. And you'll see that I've already put it on the paper, so that little powder now sticks to the embossing. I'm sorry, I'm trying. You know, I can't talk and work at the same time. And then what I'm looking for is, I take a look at it. You see this powder. The problem is I need my glasses. There we go. You can see there's a little bit of a kind of a nudge there that I want to get rid of. I'm going to fussy cut around this, so it's not critical that every last little piece is cleaned off, because I'm not going to worry about the outside. I'm going to fussy cut it. But I want to make sure that I've got powder on pretty much all of the, you know, all of the words. So the words all showing, so that's good. I like to bring in, I got this at Goodwill, and I just use it to hold on to my, or to protect my work surface. And I have this pair of reverse tweezers, and actually they've got these in the new catalog too. It comes in that whole set with the embossing powder and a tray and all kind of tweezers and a little brush for sweeping away any of those little stray pieces that are there. So I'm going to turn on my, I'm going to give you a warning. I'm going to turn on my heat tool. I'm going to turn it to high, and we're going to get started. So I usually try to, let's heat it about 30 seconds, warm it up, and then bring it in so the paper doesn't curl. And actually having this on this metal helps as well, because the metal heats up the powder. And I'm waiting. There we go. Can you see the magic? Can you see it turning? It's just so cool. And there, see, I'm just trying to take a look and see if every little bit was heated. Try and guide it to the light. And it is. So I'll set that aside. Isn't that magical? I just really, really love that. And I'm going to give that a minute to dry, to cool off rather. It is a little, sometimes it's a little not tacky, but puffy. And if I mess with it too soon, it can create a problem. So let's go ahead, set that aside. I'll fussy cut it in a minute and get this card layered. So what I'm going to do is I used on my original card, here, I'll show you again. I used the pink, the petal pink ribbon, which is beautiful. It's a soft polyester and it's very, it ties very easily. But I thought I'd try today, trying to kind of get that little bit of glimmer. So I've got the gold shimmer ribbon and I thought I'd try that. During my class, my students decided that I gave them a couple of options and this was their favorite. And I really liked the way it looked on their cards. So I decided that that's the one I'm going to show to you. So I do want to have this raised up on dimensionals. So as you can see, I kind of pulled the ribbon through, but before I attach it too strongly or too closely, just give it a little snip. And I'm going to go ahead and take the whole thing and put it on dimensionals. And I'm going to go ahead and put a glue dot on the back of the ribbon. Let's see, where are my dimensionals? First of all, go ahead, and I want this to be centered. It'll just help hold it when the time comes to attach it. Keeps it a little centered. So my dimensionals have gone AWOL. Oh no, here they are. You would have no idea what it looks like behind the scenes. Well, you might. If you're a crafter, you probably do have an idea of what goes on behind the scenes of some of these videos. I'm sure your desk looks like mine on occasion, right? When we're being creative. All right. So I'm going to move that out of the way. There's my base. I can decide. Let's see. Which way do I want it? Do I want it that way? No, I think I want it that way because I think you're going to see, well, it doesn't really matter. But I'm just trying to center this on my page. All right. And look at that. I see that my little corner is peeking through. So I am going to snip that out of the way. All right. See how easy that was? And then all I'm going to do is attach this ribbon to the back of my card. All right. 1 and 2. And there we go. So I am filming this today. It is the 4th of July here in the United States. It's a big holiday. And we are going to be heading out on the lake later on this afternoon. I'm hoping that you are doing something fun. Are you taking care of yourself today? Get some time off. If you're joining me on a day that's not a holiday, welcome. And for the replay, glad you are here. Let's see. So as you see, I just put a little glue dot on the back of that. I'm working and not really telling you what I'm doing here. And then I'm just slipping that in behind that. And now I'm going to attach the whole thing to the card base. Now, of course, you could make this with any designer series paper. You can use what you've got on hand. You can use any sentiment if you need a birthday card. We've got a couple of weddings coming up, so for me, a wedding card works really well. This could be an anniversary card. Lots of options. All right, so now I'm going to fussy cut this congratulations. Now, so when I fussy cut, I keep the scissors still. I'm right-handed, so I keep my scissors still, and I don't know if you can see, I'm moving the paper. And I'm not really too particular about following the letters. I'm just creating some movement, curling it around, get some of that extra out of the way, helps. And then, as you can see, I'm just really kind of going up and down with the paper. And then when I get kind of toward the end, snip that off, and then come back to the point where your scissors meet together, come together, and give yourself some extra room. And as you can see, I'm really not paying attention. I'm not really trying to follow the curve of the letters. I'm just going ahead and moving the paper. There we go. So I'm gonna, now I kind of go back and see, are there any kind of sharp edges that I need to be worried about? And no, I think we're good. Okay, so I'm gonna put this up on dimensionals, but this time, because it's small, I'm gonna use my mini dimensionals. You could certainly just cut your regular dimensionals. You don't have to use the minis. Let me see, I can get a big one there. And then I have one here that I cut previously for another card. I'm going to put that there. And I think I'm going to cut another one. I want to make sure that this stays attached, that it doesn't push down inadvertently. Okay. So now take the backs off. These little bitty things can be tricky. And put that right about, I think right about there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just make a bow. It's much easier to make the bow and put it on after the card, after the ribbon has already been attached, than trying to tie the bow and attach the ribbon. So you just kind of fiddle with it a little bit, get it the way you want, and decide, I think I'm going to put that one that way. It'll leave it a little bit loose. I'm not tightening it. Now I say that. Tighten it a little bit more. There we go. I want to make sure I've got that flat piece, not the crisscross piece. I want that flat piece in the front. And cut it on a little bit of an angle. And then I can always come back later. Yeah, see that one I kind of did a little bit too. There we go. How's that look? And I kind of make sure, I want to make sure it's not sticking out past there. And so ribbon and glue dots are the way to go. Best way to attach. So just put that right back there and attach that right there. And then of course we're going to add a little bit of bling. So I've got the champagne rhinestone basic jewels. And I'm going to just add one there. Since that flower is right there, that's kind of handy. And then maybe another one. Down there. There we go. And then you can use this piece for the inside. Attach that after you stamp your greeting on it, because of course if you kind of mess up your greeting, you've got a second side to work with. And there you have it. Very simple, little bit of added interest here with the gold in the background and the die cutting, putting the two die cuts together, and just a fun, I think, a really elegant, could be a wedding card, birthday card for someone special in your life. So I'm happy to you join me today. Would love for you to comment and like my video if you are happy with it. This helps others find me. If you would like to be notified of future videos, you can subscribe on YouTube or follow me on Facebook. YouTube has that little subscribe button just right below the video. If you would like to purchase any of the items used in today's class, in today's card, please send me a message or click the Shop With Me button. And I have some more cards in the wings ready for you to share. So I look forward to seeing you another day. In the meantime, have a great one. Bye for now.